In Ethiopia, and taking Addis Ababa as an example, the capital city, there is an incredibly dynamic and creative scene.
We have this creative force.
I would call it a Renaissance time. There is a lot of studio in different areas.
We've started to understand the value of art, what it does for society.
The past 10 years, I see people going to the galleries and lots of artists are coming up.
But we need more support.
The 2005 Convention on the Protection and Promotion of the Diversity of Cultural Expressions was established to ensure that in an increasingly globalized world, the maintenance of cultural diversity was put in the foreground as an aspect central to sustainable development. And on a policy and programmatic level, governments would ensure the necessary support of creative industries at all levels of the creative chain.
On a policy level, to support the creative industry as a backbone of the economic growth and economic development is not well thought of. The creative industry is not the priority sector.
They need to recognize artists.
Photographers, makeup artists. Sadly, I do those things abroad to compete in the international market.
They don't learn art in the high school. When they get mature, and they don't have any awareness for the art, modern art, what it means.
The students that come to our schools are getting a trade, getting a skill, and paid access also.
It would help creating some sort of platform to educate and to bring those type of talents into the industry.
The 2005 convention support in the sense for what we need. Training, training, training. That's what we are missing.
If the creative industries in Ethiopia were both known abroad and also encouraged on a national level, the contribution of contemporary creative industries specifically to development of the country would be phenomenal. If the artists that exist, the dancers, the writers, the musicians that exist had the proper infrastructure to support the production, diffusion, and sustainability of their work, the contribution of the culture sector to Ethiopia's GDP would be astounding.
It's life for me. We need to keep that energy. We love it, but we have to pay your rent, to pay your clothes, to eat.
One of the challenges we have is instruments are very hard to come by. Taxation on instruments, musical instruments, they're considered luxury items, like 300% tax. That puts a limitation on the quality of education we could give or the quality of instruments that are available for musicians here. So it's sort of suffocating that side of the industry.
In Africa, it's very difficult to move and meet other circus. You know, Africa is so big, so you cannot really travel. It's so expensive. You have a question of the visa. UNESCO help our dream to be real. So maybe now we can make a network for the culture of African circus.
We have a lot of problems with the space, with the gallery, with the museums.
If we go to hire a theater, then they just give you 2 hours a day and they charge you a lot of money. You don't have enough time to rehearse.
Art without space becomes hidden.
There was nothing going on there. There were like grasses where the people are going to sit. We said, okay, we will clean it. You know, we can do a lot better than that.
This convention is broad in the fact that it addresses many ministerial preoccupations, but also addresses many different facets of the creative industries in Ethiopia. Not only the stakeholders that are artists, but also the stakeholders that are producers, consumers, and distributors of cultural goods.
There's no real platform where you're connecting the emerging market producers with developed consumers.
The producers of festivals and promoters don't know about the bands that's in here.
The telecom service is not actually very well established, so usually information don't really flow. This is something that usually the artists like. They actually produce really good products, but it cannot really reach the customer. Technology is an enabler. It's really enable the artists to engage with the people who appreciate their artwork, but not only limited in the local term, but also globally.
One of the main priorities of the Ethiopian government right now is the question of image building. How to change the image of Ethiopia on an international level.
I call it the Ethio-Cinema. Cinema is very important. Our image was destroyed by documentary, so we can fight it through cinema.
You become relevant when your arts are being seen in the international market. It's really important that we push that, we show that to the world. Designers, when they see the geometric shapes, like that we call it, made on a traditional loom in Ethiopia, that inspires them and they use on their collection. So that kind of brings in like an attraction to our country.
We have our own way of moving. You see Ethiopian taste in it. We're really working hard on creating Ethio-fusion contemporary dance.
Right now there's a big interest in Ethiopian music. East African music is still a mystery for a lot of people.
The first challenge is to ensure advocacy of the role creative industries plays in national development beyond, strictly speaking, the economic sector.
This is our country, we need to develop it together to address the moment of the new generation which is coming.
In Ethiopia, there is not much things to do after school. You just open and put some music, all the children and the youngsters come here. They are from poor family and some of them, they don't have even family. They come from countryside and they are living in the street. So we get them from the street and they start to practice a circus here and they like it, so they push, start to travel, they do something, they live.
Artists in society have traditionally been the visionaries. They have been the advocates of peace building, of social cohesion, of cultural diversity. These values underline the mission at heart of UNESCO and the possibility of the contribution of culture to promoting a culture of peace at large in the world.
It would be a much better, enlightened society if they're exposed to art. So art will only enhance to what a human being will aspire to become.
You see the city and the country developing, and mostly there are lots of building going on, So I think we need to develop people's mind as well.
It educates, edifies, and becomes the civilizing force for society.
But we need more support.
So that we are ready always to support the country. We are the ambassadors, we are the storytellers to tell about the new Ethiopia.
If we do not listen to the Ethiopian artists, the vision that we have of Ethiopia on an international level and the potential of the culture sector in Ethiopia to transform the nation will be underestimated, and it will be at the loss of both the country and the world.